As I said in my very first video, at the heart of belly dance is improvisation. But can you teach improvisation? I think you can. And I intend to do a series of videos tackling just that. This is the first. Hi, I'm Kashmir, and I love improvisation, but I realise that it's really scary for some people. This could be due to a lack of confidence or some bad experiences when they first tried it in their early days of class. So this is the first of a series of videos on teaching improvisation, which hopefully will make it easier and more pleasurable for dancers of all levels of experience. Why bother? Why teach improvisation? Why do improvisation? Well, as I said at the beginning, that belly dance at its heart is a solo, improvised, torso-focused dance. And for that reason, as belly dancers, we should know how to improvise. There are also situations where choreography simply doesn't work. I'm thinking about a restaurant. I don't know about where you are, but where we are, if you're a restaurant dancer, you dance between the tables. You dodge small children, patrons and waiters. This is not a place to do a choreography. In actual fact, you haven't got space to do a choreography. So you need to be able to make it up on the fly. This is often also the case even in somewhere like a outdoor event where you've got plenty of room, but again, small children, ice creams, dogs. If you stick to your choreography, you're going to have problems. So you need to be able to be a little more flexible. Or you may just not quite have enough time to pull it off. I recently had a gig where all I was told is we had a runway of a certain length and a certain width, and it was so many metres from the door, and they'd want 2 dancers dancing next week. Seemed okay, we sort of mapped it out, and then we turned up for the dress rehearsal to discover that all the dimensions were completely wrong. So fortunately we hadn't choreographed it too tightly, so we could actually adapt. But also it's a general skill that you might want to add, and you don't just have to use it for belly dancing. I had a student come to me once who was so pleased after a couple of terms of belly dance. She said she'd actually gone to a social event, didn't do belly dance, but she actually got up on the dance floor and danced away. And she was so happy with that. And that came from that confidence of actually saying, yeah, I can put moves together. Now, improvisation is a continuum. You have different levels of it. At one end, you have the improvisation, which is almost a choreography. You know the music really well. You know how you're going to start. You probably know how you're going to finish. You've probably got the accents worked out in the middle, but in between you'll just weave it about a bit. How much you've actually filled in beforehand can vary, but sometimes there can be an awful lot which you basically do the same every time. But it's always open for change. At the other end, you walk in cold to a piece of music you've never heard before and you have to dance to it first time. We had to do that in contemporary quite a bit, but that's another story. Wherever you are on that continuum, you use some of the same skills. You need a feeling for the music. You need to anticipate the music, which is one of the reasons why we spend all that time listening to Middle Eastern music when we're not dancing. And you need an automatic dance vocabulary, so when you go to do something, you don't have to think about how to do a figure 8, which would fit there, but it comes out. So that was part of the drilling of the moves video that I did. If you're actually doing your improvisation as a performance, then you have a whole extra layer involved, because then you have to make sure that the experience for the audience is optimal. So then you just have to start thinking about staging and directions, pacing. We're not going to cover that in this video. This is a more basic video just to get your beginners started, or people who are beginning to improvise started. So when do you start teaching your beginners improvisation? Well, from day one. No, I'm not joking. These days, my very first belly dance class for my raw beginners ends with an exercise where they have a travelling step, a very simple travelling step. They do 4 travelling steps and they have 8 counts to do whatever they like. At this stage they don't really have enough belly dance vocabulary, but they can use belly dance vocabulary, they can use any vocabulary they like, but they've got to move for 8 counts and then they repeat. Now this is actually improvisation, but I don't use that word, because one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to scare the students. And for some reason that word, improvise, so don't call it that, just say, okay, right, now we're going to exercise, okay, and where they go. So in the next video, I'll look at some exercises you can call improvisation.